Din, din, din. Tweet. Din, din, din. Do, 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 do. Din, din, din. Dan, dan, dan. Pa, 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 pa. Dan, dan, dan. Ta, 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 ta. Dan, dan, dan. Ta, 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 ta. Pew. Yeah. Thank you for all the people who commented on that. So that you know, I'll put a link to it. Maybe I'll even put a clip from it. I found somebody singing it to the Japanese version of the manga, and it's lovely. They moved the camera around and sort of semi-animated the whole sequence, and it's I really think that you could animate all of Fire Punch. I think that the whole thing could be pretty solidly easily animated. Not easily, but pretty solidly animatable. And that scene would be so good. So good. Okay, I'm nowhere near ready to actually start going, so I'm gonna just stop this recording, I think. Wait, no. Being not ready to go is kind of my thing. I'm ready to not be ready. Dan, dan, dan. You're never actually gonna be ready for the thing that you're waiting to be ready for. You just have to decide to do it, and at the point of deciding to do it, you become ready to do it. Fucked. It's fucked. I hate it. And now all the lights are on. I probably at least a new shirt. Oh, I didn't even notice until I was on camera. I see. There's a bit of like mild discoloration there. I don't care. I like this shirt a lot. Darkness. I must kill this person. Darkness. Yeah, that's about Fire Punch. Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I guess I'm ready for Fire Punch. I'm not at all, but that's the idea, huh? Apparently that's the idea. I guess we're gonna do a drawing. Fucking Fujimoto already drew 3 things intersecting on Agni's fist as the newly found disciples of Agni have emerged and gathered together, and we're probably going to find out a little bit about them as we move forward. They're probably pretty mysterious, though. One of them is a smexy lady with a crazy metabolism who can mind control a spear pole dance style. I don't know how that works. And she's got some some odd civilians who she's protecting and keeping with her. The other Mr. Tidy Whitey's, I don't know what his deal is, but he sure does generate the strong stuff and uses it to slice people a lot. So they seem very useful. And of course, there is your boy, Batman. Man with Bat, whose son died professing his faith and has chosen to spread the good word via violence all over the place. But because Ding Dang Fujimoto already chose the best representation of of his own idea, something that he does often, I don't know I don't know what to do here. I think the thing to focus on, really, more than anything, is this insane final line of the last half of the volume. Your new role is God. Benevolent fireman. the benevolent version of fireman. Arms open, with his flaming arms to joyfully receive our population. Yeah, okay. That's tough, man. That's tough. Especially when you are actually just a totally shattered, not effective human being at all yourself. Right? Like, that's the bigger deal here. I drew that wrong. Okay, so that would be there. This would be that way. Agni's not the guy for the job. honestly. He's gonna be the guy for the job. But he's really good at not dying, lighting things on fire, and being pretty nice. None of which are, like, strong leadership tendencies, we might say. But he's the flaming guy, and so by virtue of just being able to survive his trauma, like, that's the only thing that Agni is really solidly capable of doing, is he's been able to survive his own horrible experiences and keep fighting. By virtue of that, now he's in a position of genuine, like, worship and authority. I think that is going to inevitably lead to some imposter shit. Like, I don't deserve this. What the fuck is going on? This is crazy. But at the same time, more than anything, the masses yearn for fire. They really yearn for him. You know? He is the chosen for this insane experience. You know, this is sort of an out of world thing that's kind of irrelevant, but it made me think about Togata. It made me think about her and a real world analog. Togata, as a character, Fujimoto has created her as, like, a bit of a self-insert. I know his love for film, right? It's part and parcel to his whole perspective on everything. And even in the joke that I did, or sketch or whatever, to open this video, we're talking about a love for and use of film, right? Using the Mad Max soundtrack as something that Togata knows in world, and then framing a scene that's referencing and then one-upping the Fury Road scene of, like, stabbing in the truck with the thing, and she's hidden the thing inside the thing, and it's, you know, while using Togata's unique tendencies, being immortal, to make it cooler. And it's something that Fujimoto does often. He wants to bring the things that he's seen in film into the world that he's creating in fiction, right? But it got me thinking about Togata as this highly powerful, disconnected individual whose worldview is shaped by film and fiction, and who wants to bring those fictional representations into reality, who actually doesn't see the difference, who doesn't experience the difference between the mythological landscape that she evaluates and the real world that she inhabits. They're the same to her. And that works powerfully well because, of course, she actually is a character in a story, as opposed to a real person in the real world. But it's very prescient, because we have a whole generation, and this has happened forever, like, every generation has done this because every generation is invested in and interested in the media and representations of their reality. Since religion, right? Religion paints a fantastic world. What if we all lived in peace and harmony because we were all nice to each other, for example? And then people work toward that fantasy and try to manifest that into their reality through their actions, sort of. But science fiction and fantasy, explosion of media and literacy, and the ability to, even if you're not literate, watch television shows or Star Trek or see the future and see all these interesting things and ways that things are in movies and crazy experiences and stuff, and wanting that to be something that you see in reality is, well, it's something that really does shape the perspective of my generation for sure, but probably every generation since there's been written word or pictures. Make sense? I think that makes sense. But it seems like in our technological landscape that's overwashed and overwhelmed with cyberpunk dystopias and futures, and we've had, like, a solid 100 years of really buckling down and trying to predict the future in our fiction. Like, a solid 100 years. 1920s onward, comics, sci-fi, both representations of who a person should be, how a society should be, Jetsons futures, all the things that you want, they've all been represented in a bajillion ways, and parodied to the utmost. The 70s, 80s, 90s action film sweep takes us through insanity mounting on insanity, then being parodied by even more insanity mounting on insanity, and often people taking that insanity that's represented there totally seriously. Like, there are people who view RoboCop as, wow, what a cool movie about the cop that shoots everybody, he's so cool. It's like, that's not the point, bro. Bro. Or you watch Starship Troopers and you come out of that going, go military, I'm doing my part, and it's like, that's not the message of the movie. But regardless, those things, those ideas have gravity to them, and a lot of people are pulled by them. They're part of our collective, semi-conscious representation of the way that things work. Part of our representation of the way that the military exists is Starship Troopers. It is that the guy with no arm and no leg being like, yeah, you want to join up on the infantry? I was part of the infantry. Good service, sir. It's like, it's a lot. But the idea of a highly powerful, in multiple ways, relatively young, not exactly, individual who is near obsessed with film representation of cool things and making those cool things that are just cool in the fiction into reality, like forcing them to occur. Really forcing it, like, no, Agni, you have to say these lines and be this way and do this and be the hero that I deserve because of my film. No, the world can be destroyed. Behem Dorg can fall apart and light on fire because it'll be really intense. No fucks given, right? That attitude I couldn't help but think of when I saw, just last week, a bunch of stories surrounding Elon Musk going on the Joe Rogan Experience, the most popular podcast in the world, and talking quite a bit about how he wants the Cybertruck to be bulletproof, and bragging quite a bit about how the Cybertruck's doors are bulletproof. To the point that Rogan asked him if it was arrow-proof and decided to shoot a high-velocity broadhead arrow at the side door of the Cybertruck, which it barely dinked it. As Musk sat there and talked about how he wanted it to be bulletproof. And what got me, it was the justification and reason behind it. The reason behind it that he stated was something along the lines of, maybe I'll put the exact quote up, something along the lines of, I always used to see in movies how people would, the good guys would hide behind their car doors and they'd be hiding behind in a gunfight, hiding behind their car doors, and bullets would be dinking off, and then they'd be able to return fire. And with a real car, you can't do that, but I wanted the Cybertruck to be capable of doing that. Okay, right. So, this fantasy vision of, like, streets marred by gunfights all over the place is something that is cool to the disconnected, highly powered person who cannot be affected by the violence that's occurring there because of how disconnected they are. Elon Musk isn't regeneratively blessed as far as I know. Who knows what the Neuralink people are up to? They might have clones of him in vats. But he's still so disconnected from the actual reality of violence on the streets that his viewpoint on it is all functionally garnered from film. And so it's a fun marketing decision, and that's a layer to the whole thing, because none of these CEOs are going onto a show without hard prep, and that Musky Boy really put some effort into figuring out how he would brag about the fact that it was bulletproof. Not just because he thinks it's cool, but because he thinks that other people will think it's cool and buy his trucks, and also probably because he's going to be gunning for police and military contracts, and being able to claim bulletproofness out the gate without an upgrade package is pretty nice for that kind of thing. Get your SWAT wrapped Cybertruck soon. Terrifying. Right. Welcome to our horrifying dystopia where disconnected immortals are capable of and willing to sacrifice the well-being of the populace in order to fulfill their movie fantasies. See why I happen to think about the Togata scenes here? I think it really is, it's like right on, and Fujimoto nailed the attitude of it that's both totally disconnected and then really like pouty and bummed when things don't go her way and the destruction isn't quite the particular variety that she wants. It's like, damn it, the thing didn't happen the way I wanted it to. But Xer isn't the best social media site, and we're not taking over the world with a super currency. No, grr. I I I don't care that much. It doesn't matter to me that much, but I thought it was really funny how much that piece of news, as I scrolled past it, reminded me of Togata out there, and totally reframed how I think of Elon, like as a 300-year-old, super powerful, resources you can't even imagine monster. But like a really cool monster who I'd honestly like to get a drink with and like, talk about stuff, given proof that I wouldn't get murdered in the process, Oh, my children. So this is the thing here, is that this vision of Agni that I've got with his open arms, it should be religious in its form, right? It should really be like, oh, and it doesn't really have that aspect to it. I don't know what it is that I'm missing there. Maybe it's the sort of peaceful gesturing that's present in a lot of the religious art. I just don't have the anatomical stuff down pat here. And also, I drew his shoulders kind of wrong and forward, which removes the sort of idea of this. So maybe I can just wibble that like this, and like that, and like this, and like that, and like this, and like that. It's a little bit better, but not really. So I would have to erase arms and start again to really get the gesture that I want, which is more like so than it is like so. Because this is overbearing and imposing, and this is, yeah, okay. I see what I should have done. I'm still really happy with the way that the fire parts look. Even up to the flaming ding dong, which I'm not going to draw in there intentionally. And I was going to draw, like, supplicants around him, because that's what's important, but I don't think they would draw themselves in this imagery that they've got. Because that's sort of the idea that's present here. This isn't Agni creating a religion, right? He's not interested in being followed. Just like every great messianic character, he'll reject the call and reject the power and the authority and the worship that are all placed upon him, except insofar as Togata maybe orders him not to, right? But this isn't him creating an icon of himself. This is a human being, utterly flawed, who we see pretty much all of, and we know is pretty much an 11-year-old boy who's been on fire for 10 years and hasn't matured much out of that, right? Being raised to the status of Pope God Emperor, Pope Man Agni. And he's like, I'm a little boy, and I'm still living in a world where my sister isn't dead. Ah! And no, you're not, buddy. You're God now. Fucking balls. And we could say that it's a exceptionally overblown or taken to an extreme version of all of our real lives. All of us, as real people, go through a period where we're totally helpless, and then we become somewhat less helpless, and then suddenly we have full responsibility for ourselves and the world around us, and it's like, ah! you kind of go from like, okay, you're a baby and a small child and you can't do anything, and then you're in a 10-year battle for little bits of self-determination, freedom, free will options with your parental units or whatever authority structures you're engaged with, and then you're free and also God of your own life, and you can just fail. You can just, nobody gives a shit. You just light on fire and fail. And that's just get the keys to the kingdom when you turn 18. You're like, I'm just on fire, and I don't know why are you all worshipping me? Stop it. Although the worshipping part's a little weird. One thing that is definitely true is there is no being ready for Fire Punch. So I don't have to worry about getting more ready. You feel me? Don't need to get more ready, just need to get reading. And that's what we're going to do as soon as I delete a couple of videos so that I have more space on my hard drive. Yep. Yep. Fire Punch. Bow, bow, bow. Your new role is God. Oh, there we go. And there he is. Pray to your fire boy. Hey, he's pretty cool. I mean, he's really tall. He's on fire. He's warm. People want to stay near him. He's got like a paladin aura of warmth. It's a good thing you left the joint. Son, you'll be able to walk with prosthetics. Prosthetics? Prosthetics are new legs to replace your missing ones. Come back again tomorrow. I'll have some made for your size by then. Oh, is this one of the couple? I think so. He looks like that guy. So that's cool. Prosthetics? You could get a robot limb to replace your blown off limb. Listen to Aesop Rock's new song, Mindful Solutionism. It's a good song. Yay. You don't seem too happy about having new legs, bro. I'd be pretty happy. Is this guy dead? In a body bag? How many people is this now? I haven't counted. More and more of the firewood guys keep dying. There's not much food, so the emaciated ones go first, but they all die with a look of peace on their faces. This is all thanks to Lord Agni. I haven't seen Lord Agni since last night. He might be above the clouds. What? I don't think he can fly, man. Oh, the spear! Spear lady might be able to help him. That's cool. Nope, not above the clouds. There's something we need to take care of right away. There's nothing left to eat in this town. You and I may not have to eat, but for those who do, they'll die. And that includes the 300 slaves you picked up, the 200 pieces of firewood, that mystery Batman and his 30 guys, and that mystery bitch's 160 family members. They're waiting for you to come up with a miracle that'll feed them. Wow, messianic indeed. We're the loaves and fish, boy. Give us loaves and fishes or we won't believe anymore. You're God, right? You're God, right? Flame us up some deer in this dead world. Fuck. Wait, hold on. Don't multiple of the firewood guys produce starchy goop? Yeah, that's not good enough. It's not good enough, is it? Can you chop off parts of yourself and torch them? Yeah, you could chop off parts of yourself. So we return to our previous circumstance. But Agni's not the same person that he was, and the resources at his disposal are not the same as they were, right? You're not a helpless little boy who had to chop off his own arm in order to feed everybody. It's not the only way. But it is a last resort. And it is possible. And pain is nothing to you now. And they would worship the promise of eating bits of God. Ha! It would actually go full Catholic communion, wouldn't it? The body and blood. Woo! Oh my God, no way. Oh, that's so cool. I love how dismissive Togata is of all of the people that are here. 300 fucking slaves. God. 200 fucking firewoods. God. I'm supposed to perform a miracle? But how? Well, besides being eternally on fire, you've been chopped to bits, been resurrected, flown through the air, descended from the heavens, and freed the slaves. Those are called miracles, and they're why everyone thinks you're a god. Right now, there aren't enough beds or sleeping bags, so everyone's sleeping in turns, and the little canned food remaining is being shared by everyone with no fighting to be had. The only reason they're able to put up with all this is because they're expecting something from you. Their god. Oh, we're just gonna smash critique religion as opiate of the masses style, just like, they're all holding on because they're hoping. They'd all be murdering each other if you weren't here. Whoa! So it's not the goodness of the people. It's the belief in a higher power that will rescue them, that keeps them docile. Interesting. What if she's wrong? What if it is the goodness of the people? Well, a lot of these people seem pretty good, but if that canned food runs out a little further, I know what hunger does to a person. I've had it happen to me. It's not great. It's not great. You can fall apart really fast. So that makes sense. But what are you gonna do, bro? But they can't just do that. They have every right to expect things, just as you have the right to either answer their expectations or not. But if you don't, I know exactly what'll happen. And what's that? They'll be disappointed. And then they'll get angry because they wasted all that time expecting something of you. She's speaking from experience, isn't she? This isn't the first time that somebody has seen her as their savior. She's probably done it a couple of times trying, huh? Woof. And then the slaves you took in will either run away or turn on you. So what'll it be? I met the Ice Witch. Nuh-uh! She froze the world just because she could. She can't be forgiven. Okay, I see. I don't know what's going to serve as my fuel to keep living. What do I do now? Yeah, man. So she's like, hey, here's another solid political crisis. Oh, you're in the midst of an existential crisis. Cool. Have two. Oh, he doesn't say, what do I do now? He says, what I do know is that I don't want to lose to the one who made this world how it is, the Ice Witch. So, if it means saving everyone, I'll play God or do whatever it takes, but, do I even have a right to say that? I've killed so many and hey, there's our imposter. Imposter syndrome. I'm not worthy. To make up for all the ones you've killed, you should have some fire sex to up the number of children. Not that it's possible with your burning splooge. He could make up for those he's killed by saving the slaves or something. You're stealing what I just said. But. Enough with the buts. You're not allowed to worry like that anymore. Humans worry. You're a god. We have to do something about this food problem. Well, here we go. First off, you're not allowed to worry. Humans worry you're a god sucks. That sucks to be on the other end of that. You know what it rings of, actually? I don't like saying this. It rings of classic masculinity. You're not allowed to worry. You're a man. Actually, fits with the thing I said earlier about how you're kind of a kid and then suddenly people are like, hey, you're in charge now, kiddo. Later. Yeah, you're not allowed to worry. That's for kids and weak-willed women. Fucking hell. Ah! If it's food they need, I have an idea. Snip, snip. Are you sure about this? Okay, so fireproof suit just in case, 'cause duh. And we're gonna start chopping one arm off of Agni and regrowing it repeatedly. He can handle it. His regeneration's even better. He can feed this whole village with just his arm over and over. And it will be the flesh of God. And it's so fucking crazy. I'll be fine. My meat tastes good. Cut off the left side of my head. My body's too burned to eat, but the left side of my head isn't burning, so you can eat it. And you should be able to cut it off without catching fire. There's probably not a lot of meat in my head, so I'll have to cut off a lot. Sorry, Togata, but I need you to do this. I don't think she cares too much. So wait, his body is too... Isn't, like, a full half of his body-ish not burning? No? Alright. You're going to make everyone eat human meat? That is so awesome. Togata, I just realized something. If you manage to hit the core of his regenerative powers just right, maybe you can free Mr. Agni from the fire. But that's on the burning side, and I don't have the proper equipment to cut it out. The core of his regenerative powers? Is that a thing that we knew existed and haven't talked about yet? Somewhere in the brain? Besides, it's no fun if he's not on fire. Oh, she means cut out his head and the core of his regenerative power so that he's not burning. And then he'll regenerate from that piece instead of the burning piece. So you could just free him and have a cool regenerative blessed who isn't on Doma fire forever. It's no fun. So Togata intentionally continues to doom him to the pain, even though I don't believe her excuses about not having the proper equipment. Wow. What a monster. The flames don't extinguish until the credits are ready to roll. Fucking awful. Shink! So we're just gonna chop chunks of his face off, and people are gonna eat brain and face of Agni's skull. Yummy. I want the eyeball. Actually, the cheek is probably good, too. Yummy. Human. But it's fucking food, right? I hope we get, like, a vat of soup being boiled with just a dozen Agni faces bubbling in it. Yeah, really, really nurture the appetite. Make me hungry. I fucking love this manga. We're just gonna stop for a second. Hold on. From outset awful to now awful. What an awful thing. Just what an awful thing that we get to experience. This is amazing. It makes me like Togata in the fucked upness, because I'm like, oh man, more cruelty and horror. I love it. See, literally 2 pages apart from each other, I'm on opposite sides of a thing. Look at the discombobulation that's occurred inside this guy, right? 1 page ago, I'm like, man, how fucked up of Togata, sitting there like an observer, wanting more pain and suffering for Agni because it makes for a more compelling story for her movie. Next page, man, I hope they do something horrifying and cause a bunch of suffering, because it'll make such a good manga. It's so fun being a human being and being capable of, like, criticizing your own thoughts on a thing as you're looking at and evaluating the thing while critiquing it. Like, you can view a thing from all the angles kind of all at once and build a map of it and step away from that and evaluate the map that you've built and then step inside it and evaluate the evaluator. It's fucking crazy being one of us. It's so cool. And then I get to do it. I just stepped outside. I get to do it on camera in front of a bunch of people who are watching it and enjoying it, and they tell me so, which is awesome. Thanks. And we get to experience the thing together, and they get a more of a map because of the things that I see or think about that they didn't, or the way that I experience it is inevitably different from theirs because I'm a different observer and I build a different map than they do. And then they can contribute their map in the comment section, talk about what they think about it and how that feels to them. We can all collaboratively generate a better understanding of this crazy piece of media that causes reactions in us that aren't cool. Art is cool. It's cool. It's cool, though. Talking about art is super cool. I love the internet sometimes. I hate the internet sometimes, but I love being a part of it as often as I can in the way that I can. Fuck! Support the channel on Patreon. That's my spiel. Woof. Hey, it's gone bad again. Make another. Okay, so he's a metal guy. Plop. Plonk. Oh, he just chops it off. You can't make a cooler one? Aren't you cold? What an idiot. What? I want to know more about Tidy Whitey Boy, Captain Underpoops. Oh, well. I don't know if you can't talk or just choose not to, but you can't tell anyone that Agni's here. Oh, there it is! Oh! Be careful what you wish for. Oh, because you just might get it. You just might get it. Just might get it. Get it? People can't just meet gods whenever they want to. Hey, fuck you! Ugh, I want to rub one out so bad! I know I already said this, but it'd be way quicker if we just cut off one of my arms or legs instead, so let's just do that. No! No, it's my job as God. Why not? I can't watch you being put through pain like that. Aww, so chivalrous! Fucking Togata. Sup, bitch? Agni's meat is in these bags, yo. It is by his grace that you may partake. You, Batman, and Tidy Whitey split this, alright? No. Why not? This meat, it's human, right? I snuck a peek while he was cutting it. And Agni, he's not a god at all, is he? I guess he's just a human blessed with the ability to burn and regenerate? Skeptical, eh? I see. Alrighty then. I can understand your line of thinking, but you really only have two options. Die like a dog, or eat the meat. But don't worry. Agni's a fucking god. Believe it. Tate bayo. Ow. Oishi. This meat is granted to us by Lord Agni. Savor it while you partake. Women and children first. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's... Okay, let's talk about this. It's probably not a good idea to eat human meat. First off, a human had to die to eat it. Like in our real world. First off, the real reasons. A human had to die to eat it. Just like killing an animal to eat it. It's probably bad. Probably bad. Sentient creature dead. At your hands, probably. Not good. Disease. Prions. Prion or prion? I think it's prion. Proteinaceous infective particles. Prion. Yeah. You don't want those. Kudzu, mad cow, etc. Cerebral rot, bad times. Especially with the brain parts that they're chopping off of Agni. Most people have, I think, many animals too, but many don't. Most people have an innate, like, to the idea. So there's something fundamental in the same way that we often react disgustedly toward bodily fluids. Makes sense. Probably also a disease thing. Those are the only reasons that I got. Religion isn't in the picture, because why would it be in the picture? It was invented. So you'd have to, there's no a priori reason to bring in any religious thought or like philosophical thought on the prospect that I see. So, in a circumstance like this, where we eliminate one of the concerns, the meat was given up intentionally by a person who's not dead, and it doesn't even harm him, presumably. Okay. And disease is irrelevant when you're going to die otherwise. But even if it were not, people have, for fair periods of time, eaten Agni's flesh and not gotten diseases, so we can provably, to some extent, say that he doesn't have future kudzu. And religion is irrelevant. So, I don't have any problem with this. Except my own innate bleh, right? So if I overcome my own innate bleh, and we're looking at a starving population, and he's going to feed them miraculously with flesh from his own body, the only compunction against it is that moral stance about against cannibalism that Dome presented in the very first scenes, and it doesn't hold up. It just doesn't hold up. And yet, socially, it's never acceptable. Not even a little bit. Donner Party ain't okay, man. Even if they were to die before you eat them, there's something that we just like, no, it's improper. Yeah, fair enough. But it doesn't seem very fair. It seems pretty bass-ackwards. Not that I'm proposing that we should eat human meat. It's like, there are better ways to achieve our goals in our real world. But in this world, I don't know if there's a better way to achieve this goal. Seems like the best way. Especially short term. Like, truly, hundreds of people will survive because of this. because of it's a specific direct exchange, not even of meat or a piece of himself, but of pain, just of pain, right? And Agni has overcome pain overwhelmingly. He's overcome it. Pain doesn't register for him, mostly, comparatively. He got crucified in the last chapter by ice. It's fine. Okay. Pain's not a compelling... It doesn't weigh anything on one side of the scale. And then on the other side of the scale is the survival of all the people. It's a literal trade. Temporary pain for Agni, survival for humans. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's pretty cool. Ah, that literally made me scream as editing Teeaboo. Okay, but that's exactly the logic that led us to all the firewood in Behemdorg in the first place, and this whole idea of using people up. He's just furthering it on. Instead of trying to set a new precedent or generate something better, saying maybe we should take some from Togata, this ultra-powerful person. Alright. Mr. Agni's eyeball. Mr. Agni's eyes are good for your eyes. Eyes are good for your eyes? If you eat his eyes, your eyesight will get even better. Who told you that? Who? I just think that. Yeah, you're just an idiot who everybody thinks is a prophet now. Coming up with classic savannah wisdom. Eat the animal's heart to gain its powers. Right. Oh, lucky. If you say so. You're lucky too, son. You've got legs now. Fuck yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna start practicing how to walk. I want to get back on my feet as soon as possible so I can help Mr. Agni. I also want to work on standing again so I can be of help to Lord... I also want to work on standing again so I can be of help to Lord Agni. Then you should eat Lord Agni's mouth. If you do that, you'll get some of his divine strength. And if you eat his ears, it'll cure sickness. I don't know, man. Sounds more like, Chinese holistic medicine. Eat horn of rhino, become very horny. The logic checks out, bro. Eating the powder of this animal's bone protrusion will make your bone protrusion better. I'm scared. Of what? Shop! Ha! That's just so top tier. That's so top tier. That's so top tier. I'm scared. At the same time, you just chopping a dude's head in half casually. What? What are you scared of? What's so weird? Everything's fine. Got me. Oh, it got me. Everybody really believes Mr. Agni's a god. They barely know anything about him, yet they share these really detailed stories about him among themselves. Yeah, the less you know. Yeah, we're starting to act like a real religion now. There used to be a lot of religions in the world. All sorts of different teachings. Oh my god, just the more head faces. For example, in Judaism, they taught that we got our bodies from God, so you can't remove a single part of them, not even shaving. Jewish men all rock these huge beards. There's also a practical reason behind that teaching. When you shave, you could cut your face with the razor, so in order to prevent people from catching diseases like tetanus or HIV, they came up with restrictions. There was also a religion that claimed that cows were sacred beasts that mustn't be eaten, and that was also during a time when you could get sick from eating beef. What's tetanus and HIV for that matter? What are they? You don't need to know. People who don't know about tetanus or HIV and are basically uneducated only need to be told that they're God's teachings and to have faith. And you know why, right? The only reason why right now everyone can eat this meat that's so obviously a human face is because they're telling themselves it's part of God's teachings. They all lie to each other and believe in those lies while they're eating it. Crazy, right? It's not crazy, though. We can justify anything. We can justify anything, and Fujimoto loves pointing it out. Behemdor justifies all of its own violence as the teachings of God, the teachings of the king for the survival of mankind, and when you have that kind of a stake, this is for survival. Everything else goes out in the wash. It just did earlier as we were talking about eating a man's flesh versus the survival of all these people. Everything else goes out. There's no coming back from not surviving. Fucking cool. I love her holding up the face. That's so fucked, man. Ah! They all lie to each other and believe in those lies while they're eating it. Hey, if you ever hang out with some religious folks, this is 100% the thing that it feels like. 100% exactly what it feels like. Yes, God spoke to me. Oh, God spoke to you. Yes, that makes perfect sense. Yes. Oh, he spoke to me too. Spoke to me 3 times today. Same if you edge into any conspiratorially minded people. Especially if they have something to eat or gain from it, right? If it's part of their message or part of the way that they garner support or Patreon followers or subscriptions or YouTube ads or clicks or whatever, or popularity or their Fox News anchor position or their CNN anchor position, whatever it is, you'll get groups or even just authority and respect within a group of people. You'll get groups continuously lying about how much they know about aliens and how certain they are that aliens exist, and the others will be feeding off of that energy, generating this feeling like we all agree about this thing because we're all pressuring each other, and all of us know that we're lying. But we'll never admit it because no one else will. It's really amazing what groups of humans will do in order to convince themselves of something that they're doing is right. Another place that you can go and look at this is the crypto space. It's actually exactly where you can look at this. Oh, amazing. Dan Olson's video on NFTs, line goes up, the problem with NFTs, as well as this is financial advice, also useful, as well as his Into the Metaverse videos. All 3 of Folding Ideas is the YouTube channel. All 3 of those videos do a great job of pointing at these kind of semi-grifter, semi-victim, like hybridized groupthinks that keep occurring, and the tendency of humans to religiousize a technology or a concept or something like that and become this like insular, self-churning, energy-generating engine of self-reinforcing ideas that pushes others out. Spectacular, and this is a really concise depiction of it. Amazing. Amazing. Togata! What? You've been alive a long time, and that's why you know everything that you do, right? Then I have something I want to ask. Me too! Is it something dirty? Neneto already got to ask her question, so I get to go next. Fine. I'll go after you. You're too nice. Now there are fewer religions than there used to be. Wait, no, that's not what I wanted to ask. Back when it wasn't cold, what was it like? To be honest, I only experienced a little bit of the world when it was still warm. It wasn't all that different from how it is now. Except, of course, that people didn't have to eat human meat. But way back before I was born, the old world, they say it was a peaceful and just world. Okay, next! What? This might be a stupid question, but everything you say is stupid. Where do people go when they die? What are you, a kid? You think I know everything? You mean you don't know? Rip. A movie theater. Movie theater? It's a building where everybody watches movies together. The moment you die, you find yourself standing in a movie theater. You're holding caramel popcorn and a soda in your hands. Then you go to find your seat. The moment you find it and sit down, the lights dim. Then a bunch of movie trailers run. And then they show this super interesting movie that plays on forever into eternity. Togata doesn't believe any of this. Okay. Is the movie theater warm? And a nice place? I don't know. I've never been there. But if it's a nice place, a real nice place, then that's good. I don't know, I've never been there. Combined with, I only experienced a little bit of the world when it was still warm. Togata was a hikikomori? I think so. I think that's what she's saying. Is like, I've never been to a movie theater, despite her love of movies. That indicates like a fear of going out there. Or a stuck insideness. Whoa! Or a lack of experiencing. Oh, okay. My next question. Back when it was peaceful, were people's stomachs always full? Poor guy. All these lame questions. Whoa. Oh, how are you going to treat them? How are you going to treat them? All right. 3 Nazis walk across the border with their hands up, no guns on. Oh, so sorry. Sorry, guys. Whoopsies. Where are we going? Weren't you listening? I was getting my head cut off. 4 soldiers from Behemdorg survived. They've come here. They don't have any weapons. They say they want to live here. Huh. This is an opportunity to make you even more godlike than ever. I told you to play the role of a god, remember? But you still haven't done much in the way of acting, have you? Why do you think that is? The key to acting like a god is to stay out of people's sight as much as possible. Right, it lets the mind go. New religions are one thing, but all the biggest religions never had a god that was alive and existing among them, so there's no need to show yourself. But since you have such an impressive look, let's just show you off a little right now. When we're in front of the believers, just do as I say. Okay, well now you're going to get locked into a situation where you've semi-agreed to do whatever Togata says in front of believers, and she might order you to cold-bloodedly murder a bunch of people for a spectacle, and you might not want to do that. But if she does a big speech about how all the soldiers of Behemdorg are collectively responsible for all of their actions and should be executed as a message to anyone else who does this, then that becomes really interesting. But if she does the smarter thing, gives a whole speech about how benevolent and welcoming our god Agni is and how we'll take in anyone able-bodied and knowledgeable because we have an abundance of food, that's a different kind of tactic, isn't it? Man, we're really making them look ragged as fuck. She said 4, right? I only see the 3. Well, we have multiple times lined people up for the death, you know? Fire punch! That's Lord Agni to you! Ah! Knock it! Please. Knock it, please? Knock it, please. I mean, stop it, please! Lord Agni, we have nowhere to go! We'll join Agniism! So please, let us live here! Please, we beg of you! Lord Agni, if I may speak... My parents were killed before my very eyes by soldiers of Behemdorg. They're demons! We shouldn't even consider letting them join Agniism. Please, let me kill them myself. We're going to forgive these soldiers. Forgive? Show forgive! Let us forgive them! Forgive? But why? My parents begged for forgiveness, but received none. And yet we're to forgive them? That's why we're gonna forgive them. If we kill them now, we'll be no different than they are. We are not people of Behemdorg. We are followers of Agniism. And Agniism's ultimate goal is to overcome this cruel, unforgiving world. To survive. But not just to survive, to overcome. That's different. I like it. It's busted. When you kill someone and continue the cycle of death, you have lost to this world. Lord Agni already smote Behemdorg plenty in all honor of his followers. Yeah, he fucking did. Yeah, he did. Everybody take a moment to remember the smiting of Behemdorg. Woohoo! Now, all that's left is to forgive. By forgiving, we can move on to a world of peace. It will be a warm world, illuminated by Lord Agni's flames. All right, Togata's made the right play. This is the strategically correct play. Utilize the most effective pieces of previous religions in order to fold them into your own. The peaceful world that we'll all work toward, that we believe in, manifest that from the future into reality out of film and representation and ancient religion. Woo! It's almost like my pre-discussion was not bad. Oh, yeah! Wobbity, 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 woo! There are no other soldiers besides you guys, right? Speak the truth. Our orders were to release a hero of Behemdorg into the wild, but he's idle now. I don't think he'll bring harm to this village. Dude, Doma is fucking alive. Ah, he wasn't in the city. He wasn't in the city. Doma's alive, Doma's alive, Doma's alive, right? Right? Come on. Yeah, it's the only name that would make a big splash on the next page with the page term, right? Oh, that's so sick. Oh, that's so cool because Agni gave up on his, like, revenge. Oh, man. Doma. Oh. He's out there, buddy. What are you actually worth? What's actually worth fighting? We just gave all this talk about forgiveness. How it's so important. Can you actually? What if it is... Dude with ever-burning fire is really useful against the Ice Queen. Ice Witch, bitch. Smash. Flick. Oh, I hate it. You okay? Well, it hurts, but that's pretty obvious. I don't mean that. I mean your whole revenge arc thing. Doma's still alive. So what are you gonna do? I don't think anything of it. It doesn't concern me anymore. Liar. That's okay. Your body's not yours alone anymore. You're no longer Fireman. You're Lord Agni. Thump, thump, thump. What are you doing here? Lord Agni! I'm sorry for coming uninvited, but I'm blessed with being able to look into people's hearts. Oh, that is true. That's right. So he could use that to say, I know that one of the soldiers of Behemdorg is a rapist. I say I can look into them, but it's only a little. I can only read scraps of it, and your heart is so enveloped in pain and suffering, Lord Agni, that I haven't been able to look into yours. But I have read this person's heart, and she is not to be trusted. She's betrayed you, Lord Agni. Excuse me, and just what proof do you have? Please don't trust her. She only sees you as a source of entertainment. Everything she says is a lie. She pretends to be a flippant woman. But she's actually a man in a woman's body. Like she's trans? In which direction? Like... like, was born biologically male and her current female body is, like, wearing a female skin in a VR game? Except was bioengineered for her through Megatech or something? Or flippity-flopped, born female, regenerative body, can't have surgery, actually wants to be male, would be male if could, can't. That one actually seems more likely. More fitting with the, like, the attitude and stuff. That's really interesting. Either way, it's pretty interesting. Either way, it's really interesting that trans issues immediately become a core part of our religious concerns. Wow! Alright, I wasn't prepped for that. She's actually a man in a woman's body. And we're already having trouble with the pronouns here. She's not really a woman! So, okay, is Fujimoto going to use this to say that this dude who can unconditionally see into the truth of a person's heart looks at female-presenting, female-bodied Togata and sees that in her heart of hearts she is actually a man, and that's just the truth of it, and thus demonstrate via a superpower that transness is real and this person is actually male inside a female body? Because that would be pretty cool. Because it would just be like, this dude who knows what is true just says that there is a distinct separation between sex and gender. That would be an interesting way to just tackle the issue. I'm excited. I'm really intrigued. All right. Chapter 37. Darkness, darkness, darkness. Someone. Is this Togata backstory? It can't be. It can't be. Woof. Clutch. It might be. You're awake. What? That's Judah. And that's the queen witch. You must be cold. The wood's wet, so it's not burning well. Did the ice witch just use fire? Did the ice witch just use fire? Just has temperature control? What the fuck? What the fuck? Why am I still alive? Because you have to live. Ah, but man, it's cold. My thoughts freeze to a halt when it's cold. You're the ice witch. Man, it's cold. My thoughts freeze to a halt when it's cold. So whoever this person was lying about being the ice witch? Can't stand the cold at all? Or some junk. The ice witch is just a myth. She can't actually exist. But if I hadn't said that, Agni wouldn't have had anything to keep him going and he would have died. It was that acting thing you guys love so much. Just acting. My name is Sulia. What? You probably can't move anything below your neck. Sorry I had to put you through that. I don't care if I die. Please, let me die. What the fuck? Don't talk like that. It's sad. We finally get to meet each other. For so long, I've dreamed of touching you, Judah. But I could never get close enough because your lackeys kept getting in the way. Thanks to Agni, we finally meet. What are these fucking tendrils, man? Is that shadow? Like, her shadow is a block and then those extend from it. What the fuck? Dreamed of touching you, Judah? Does this person have multiple blessings? Have they pulled them from other people? Are they like an incorporator? Are they fucking Sylar from Heroes? You're cold. You probably can't feel the warmth of my hand. It doesn't matter. Soon you'll only have your consciousness left and you'll become my doll. What? And then I can finally begin. What are you planning to do? Carry out the principles of this world. What does that mean? The story must go on? Both destruction and rebirth. Everything eventually decays. The world itself is already rotting away. I just want to finish it off. Togata just sweating bullets. No response to that, huh? Government, paintings, plants, flesh, souls. The things of this world. Is that Togata leaving? Cannot be reborn unless they're destroyed first. Kachuk. My goal is to end this world and make its successor warmer. So by holding on, digging our heels in on the no dying, overcome the promise of this world, etc., we are preventing Sulia, a totally not sinister tentacle monster in a women's coat, from ending the world in order to presumably make another one. JoJo's? JoJo's. And to make the next... They are roots or vines, huh? Just like Behemdorg sucking out the life of its blessed, huh? And to make the next world warmer, Judah, I'm going to use you. I can't follow what you're saying. To put it in literal terms makes it sound silly, so I was speaking figuratively to make it sound cooler. But I'll just give it to you straight. I'm gonna slurp up your life forces and powers and turn them into regeneration? Tap your regenerative ability and inject it into the planet's core? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? I'm going to have you suck the life out of every living thing and become a giant tree to warm the earth for me. Okay. A tree. A tree? A tree? A tree! Like the plant. You know, where firewood comes from. No, I've never seen one. I know turning into a tree sounds stupid. But I mean it. If you know how the mechanisms of the blessed work and apply them the right way, it's a cinch. People have elevated the blessed to divine levels these days, but in reality, they're just the same as guns or toaster ovens. They're appliances. Another word for a gun is a blessing that can kill people when you pull the trigger. A toaster oven is a blessing that will toast bread when you press a button. Blessed are invisible guns, and toaster ovens created by the old world and drifting through the air. The people of the old generation were evolved. That's why they were able to use all forms of blessings. Everyone was born with the trigger of a gun or the switch to a toaster oven in their blood. The current generation's people weren't able to evolve, and that's why they can use only one blessing at most. Right now, besides you and me, Judah, everyone else is from the current generation and Togata. I've searched the planet, but you're the only other evolved person besides me that I've found. Your white hair, blue eyes, and even your voice. They're identical, huh? They're a new race. Are like mine. What the fuck is that twisted root shit? That's proof you're evolved. But they recur. Luna. What? I bet I look just like you did when you were little, besides the right side of my face. I may not look it, but my age is 4 digits long. Thousands? How? How can you live in this world? All this talking has got me overheated. Let's go outside a bit. Overheated? Wait! Togata! Tell me what you're thinking! Judging by that bag, you're planning on leaving! Togata! Blam, 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 blam. Come on, man! Togata! What's going on? I don't get you! Did what that mouse guy said upset that you that much? Blam! Ow! Quit making me waste bullets! You're such a pain in the ass! I won't know what to do without you, Togata! All this burning, it's so painful I can't think about complicated things. Tell me why you're leaving. I thought you were enjoying yourself here. Blam! You don't know a thing about me. Yeah, but I'd like to. Just go out with me. Sorry. Thud. Sorry. I guess I don't... Oh, I guess I still don't have good control of your body just yet. I don't like seeing my own face glaring back at me. Look, that way's dawn, and that way you can still see the stars. Whoa. You can see the stars so clearly when it's not snowing. Whoa, up above the sky, huh? A sense of perspective. When I was little, I used to love to see the stars. But I can't remember what I liked about them so much. Ah, so similar to others, a total loss of any kind of humanity, right? Tripled from Togata? When you live as long as I have, your brain gets holes in it, and all sorts of memories leak out of it. Yeah, about that! Now I don't like seeing them that much. In fact, I feel guilty looking at them. The people of the old world abandoned their dying planet during the Ice Age and went to other planets. Everyone on those planets looked exactly the same and lived in constant bliss. They even lost all violent tendencies. Those people are dead now. And all these beautiful stars are the light from their dying cultures. That doesn't seem quite exactly right. So there's no need to feel guilty about anything we're about to do. I'm now going to tell you the order in which we're going to make this world warm. Yeah, lay out the plan. First, we're going to steal all the life from every living thing on Earth and fuel you with it. All living things on Earth, besides me, are going to die. Agni included, unfortunately. But that still won't be enough to warm up this ice age, so you need an ever-burning guy. Next, you'll establish roots with other planets, and you'll steal all of their life forces to fuel yourself. By then, the world should finally start to warm. What the fuck? After that, I'll give birth to and raise a whole new humanity all by myself, and that'll be that. You have some holes in your head in places that have to do with the way that civilizations and populations work? Because you seem to not understand it so well, Sulia. Sulia! That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. It's like you read the Bible and you're like, oh, well, I guess, you know what? All we need is one man, and we can just chop out a piece of his rib, and we'll be able to regenerate a total population in no time flat. Don't worry about everybody else going extinct. Everybody else goes extinct, and there's one man. Why won't my rib turn into a lady? My rib isn't turning into a lady. It's weird. It's like the story that I read was wrong. Holy tits, Sulia. But that won't be the end of you, Judah. I don't know if you'll have a consciousness by then, but you'll continue living in a semi-permanent state. Are you completely unable to move now? Only the right side of my face is different from you, Judah. Oh, just like burning Agni, right? At first, I thought I'd make myself into the tree, but I had this lingering thought that made me stop halfway. You asked how I can live in this world, and that's because I have something that fuels me. It's a fuel that will keep me going for the rest of my life. And that's because the last Star Wars film ended on a cliffhanger. In the old world, fuck. We're doomed. We're all doomed. In the old world, it was prohibited to read novels or watch movies, let alone make them. But in the next culture, I don't care if it takes tens of thousands of years. I'm going to raise that exact culture to be the exact same level as the era when they made Star Wars so I can watch the next movie in the franchise. All this destruction is necessary in order to make that possible. Well, Togata being trans is like irrelevant. Togata's also sane, apparently. You're gonna make a world tree with roots connected to all the other planets to suck all the life force out of the universe to regenerate Earth society to the exact point that Star Wars was made in order to make more of it. Wild. Abso-fucking-lutely wild. Twice a year, I spend time with my grandmother in France. I'm trying to get in her will. Did I mention that I really like reading this manga? This is the craziest shit. I'm so glad that I went on the tangent about Elon Musk bringing fictional realities into the real world, like, regardless of how horrifying and ghoulish they actually are. I'm so glad that I went on that tangent, because it ends up being the whole chapter, the whole chunk is just characters doing that. Oh my fuck balls. This is the craziest. and so, okay, like, remember how I was like, I don't even know if Togata knows anything. Togata says there's an ice age, we're all doomed, the ice switch doesn't exist. I don't know if Togata knows anything. Togata doesn't seem to fucking know anything, comparatively. Does Sulia? I don't know. She believes that humanity left and a bunch of identical people lived on a bunch of identical planets forever in the 1,000 years since when? Or a couple hundred years? We've been on other planets? And they've all died there? That's bullshit, Sulia. You don't know nothing. So it's a garbage religious bullshit, all centered around the revitalization, the rebirth of our Lord and Savior, Luke Skywalker. Founded on nothing burgers, as she becomes warped by tree goop. Meanwhile, we second act tension between Togata and Agni, and as they fall apart and have to reconcile this. Ah! All I can say is that these are some nutty fucking developments. I'm so excited. We're actually entering into like a god tier level of battling. We're actually against a godlike entity in Sulia here. And Agni is, again, just a boy who is on fire. Well, you know what the great, grand religious text of all truth says? Burn the witch! Burn her! She's a witch. I know it. You turned me into a newt. Got better. Burn the witch! With Agni fire, and Toma's alive. Ha! There are too many things in this section. I love it. I'm gonna call it here. I don't have that much to comment on here at the end. I've been commenting and talking as we go through. This balls to the wall, wide eyes, like, light up. Something crazy is so right from Goodbye Eri, straight through Fire Punch, all through Togata, all through all of these insane twisted characters. Just absolutely bonkers. Or like Jack with the dogs. Like, it's gonna be great. Ah! What a trip. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Fire Punch, this chunk of Fire Punch. Ah! I'll see you next week for more Fire Punch, where the punch will be fired. And I don't know what you do here. I had no idea this shit was coming. Amazing. I'll see you next week. Peace.